Buenos nachos, amigos, and welcome back to another fine episode of Hallyujuku. I'm Petey Rave, your man with no plan. With me, as always, is my cohort, Brandon Cooper, aka King Kaz. How you doing, Kaz?
I'm doing good. The bear is back. Life is great. Monkeys throw poop. I don't know. I don't really got shit.
Yeah. Of course, we're gathered again to talk about East Asian pop culture. And as we always do, we start off every episode checking in to see what music has caught each other's attention. Kaz, what have you been listening to this week?
I faked it for the first two, and the third one is going to be something I was actually listening to. So, no, Shiny is something I listen to. It's in my Pandora playlist. I listen to it. Usually it comes through the rotation when I'm playing games, usually League, StarCraft, Hearthstone, those kind of things. So I really, really like a lot of Shiny songs because they're usually really upbeat, up-tempo, really fun, kind of exciting-ish songs. They have some slower ones if that's what you're into, where you can kind of stare at the boys and you know, do things that you do when you stare at boys. But yeah, no, Dangerous is like one of their songs I really, really love for that. It's really good for playing games and doing all that good shit. All's that good shit.
All's that good shit. Yeah, that Shiny style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Shiny has a very cool, distinct style to them, and this one's is a really good example of that. Shame there's no music video, but it's a good album track.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure. I think there is, but it's just hard to find in time. So the next one is JJCC. I'm not sure if they're a newer group, so forgive me if they've been around for a while and I should know who the fuck they are, and I'm disrespecting you and your fandom of them.
Well, they are a relatively new group. They were formed by Jackie Chan, hence the kind of the joke name for them, which is Jackie Chan Chan. They're specifically formed by Jackie Chan, but as you were saying.
But yeah, so, I always like to try to feature something newer, which is kind of the point of the show in the first place. So I came across this in kind of the new week post, of stuff on YouTube. And I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. The video is really over the top.
Yeah.
And the song is kind of silly at points when you realize all they're saying is bing, 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 bing. Which at some point I think we're going to see this on a Lip Dub compilation.
Yeah, it's like bing, 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 bing. It's like, I remember Bing Bing. That's a Crayon Pop song.
Yeah. But to go over kind of the finer points of what you're usually looking for in your poppy K-pop, you got pretty boys. They dance rather well. They seem to be fun to look at, and they sing rather well. And the songs are catchy.
Yeah, and then there's millions of dancing robots. Ninja dancing taekwondo robots that at the end form together like Voltron. In one crystalline form. So,
and you can never go wrong with giant robots. Like, you got me at giant robots. I love giant robots.
Yeah. I mean, example, Knights of Sidonia.
Good show. I'm only in the first episode, but...
Good show.
So, moving on...
this is not an anime podcast.
This one is slightly more fun for me because, like I told everybody when the preview started coming out, I think I am excited for this new Skull record or whatever, and what's going to come from Skull in the future. And I think it was last week I did one of the releases of Skull's new songs. And then there was another one around this time that we're recording called Because I Was Selfish. I'm not gonna lie. I did not really pay attention to the song because the video drew me in more than anything else, of this kind of behind the scenes, seeing Soul go to Jamaica and Cuba and all these places and record his album and meet all these people and kind of be I said Saul, but Skull, and kind of be who he is. He seems to kind of have this quiet, charismatic personality, where he seems like a really quiet dude, but he's kind of the kind of guy that you want to hang out with, and like when you're hanging out with him, you're like, holy shit, he's really fun, he's really interesting, kind of person. So and then from what I heard of the song, it's really nice, just reggae music, you know? And I give Skull a lot of props for not gussying it up, you know? And not trying to do more to it than what needs to be done. He makes reggae music. He just happens to be a Korean who makes reggae music. Like, that's it. Other than that, like, if he was anyone else, he'd just be another dude making reggae music.
Yeah.
But he also makes good reggae music at that, I think. And I do like some of the stuff from Skull, so.
Yeah, it was a little weird seeing the Cuba stuff, and it does give some context to the previous video and the Che imagery in the background. It's like, I didn't think that Che was an influence in Jamaica. I'm pretty sure most people, other than random fucking hipsters and dumbasses, don't really know who the image of Che outside of Cuba, but it does give some context, and it was odd to see somebody actually film in Cuba. I don't know if maybe necessarily he got permission. I would love to see if he got permission, but then again, if you go to South Korea and you want a cigar, you actually will have trouble finding cigars in South Korea that aren't Cuban. To give some context. So there is trade amongst Koreans and Cubans, so there might be some different rules. But who knows? I don't know. Do you know? Do you know people in the audience?
Who knows? If you know, let us know. Mm-hmm. If you know, let us know. So then we can let other people know.
And then we'll all know.
It's the passing of knowledge. It's the knowledge torch.
I also love Skull's random Drake prayers. Looking like Drake in the Anaconda video. Which is a video that I got exposed to at Dragon Con, and that's a video. But we're not talking about that, because that's not East Asian. Even though it is ridiculous. We're talking about our own stuff. And it's for what I've kind of listened to and noticed in the past couple of weeks. Of course, I tend to announce some of the things that are new releases and but that have caught my attention. Specifically, Lip Service came back now as a trio. Before they were a duo, now they're a trio with the addition of Anna joining.
Okay, I was slightly confused when I watched this. I was like, was there three of them? And I didn't have the mental capacity to go back and look at the other video. I just instantly went, there must have been three of them. You know how your brain kind of does, you're like, there wasn't three. But no, wow, did I just not see her? Yeah. Like, oh, am I racist? Do I think all Koreans look the same? And then you're like, oh no, they added her. And you're like, God damn it.
Anna joins Bippa and Cora for this comeback for Don Bisa, or Expensive Money, or the English title Too Fancy. And it's kind of more of a lip service, and it's just kind of a tongue-in-cheek, fun hip-hop style through the prism of K-pop, very much in the line of their Yum 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 video, with less of an overt joke. Other than the idea of expensive money, it's like I got like the whole lifestyle of living on credit and not having money, and being envious of other people. But I don't know, it's just fun and cute, and like I think Bippa has some actual good flow overall, and Anna does kind of her job as her new role as kind of the main vocalist. So I don't know. It's interesting. Well, what did you think of Too Fancy? Was it too fancy?
I love kind of the silly ridiculousness of lip service, and I think it's kind of going to be the thing that carries them to being popular is like the silly, funny kind of thing about them.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they can make a joke, but like stuff like this always ends up rather popular. The people who are aware of the joke that they're making, but at the same time still have real musical credit. Like they're pretty good rappers. Like you said, the new person that they added is a good singer and a good backup vocalist, and just a good, vocalist overall for them. And then I also thought it funny of trying to see them twerk.
Yeah. It was always very interesting, the results of any of the resident Korean pop artists trying to twerk.
Yeah. Especially where, for lack of better terminology, we're ill-equipped.
Ill-equipped?
To
Yeah.
do such things?
Yeah. I would say that would be the case sometimes. Which is not a bad thing, per se.
No.
We're not into body shaming here, but some visuals.
Whoa, it's not anything about body shaming. I'm not body shaming. I'm just saying.
We're just saying that, some visuals lend themselves to certain body types more than others. That's all.
That's all.
Of course, beyond that, we also the big tracks that dropped just after we stopped recording our last episode 2 weeks ago, like shortly after we had wrapped, and I noticed they were on Reddit. So that's why we didn't talk about them, even though we released an episode on that Wednesday after they happened. Namely, first of all, Orange Caramel. As anybody that's noticed, I've throughout the past, I think, few months, I've fallen in love with Orange Caramel, specifically with Catalina. And they came out with their new song, My Copycat, or Do It Like I Do. And not only did they put out a freaking catchy song with a really cool, instrumentation, but they also made a fun video that's interactive. It's all a big game of spot the difference, followed by also games of where's Lizzie, Nana, and Reina, and where's Lizzie, Nana, Reina, and Joseho, and who else? And somebody else in the video. So you get to play figure out spot the difference between the two shots, and that's the obvious there. And it's just a fun video and a fun song. On top of that, they also released their music video performance version, to kind of show off the routine, which is the choreography is just super fun and, infectious. And just like what Orange Caramel is known to do. The choreography is really fun. The performance is really fun, and their personalities are fun. And of course and on top of that, they released a dance practice video. And true to form, they also did kind of a fun gag at the beginning, at the end of the video, with their ridiculous exaggerations. And really, Nana is awesome, and Lizzie is awesome. The Orange Caramel is so much fun in general. I don't know. What did you think of the Orange Caramel track, or these videos, or whatnot?
I'm trying to figure out where to start. Well, I'll just go off the base video. I think the base video is really creative and cool. You don't really see a lot of that kind of shit. I just thought it was fun to make something where you specifically, if you want to, you're gonna pay attention to the visuals. The visuals are really gonna pull you in and grab you, and you're gonna really kind of look at them and see everything that's going on, and kind of the where's Waldo and the spot the difference between the two scenes, and like you said, all that kind of stuff. This is so meant to be fun and lighthearted, and I love that. That is so freaking awesome, and I can kind of see why they're separating themselves and kind of pushing more and more Orange Caramel.
Yeah, less after school, more Orange Caramel, I guess. Like a little bit more success here. Yeah, it's just a fun song and a fun video, and the music video, the performance version also lets you see the choreography, which is so super fun. And I don't know, I love me some Orange Caramel. It's just like, and I haven't really heard a lot of After School, but I've never really been transfixed or really, what's the word? Inspired to go seek them out, but Orange Caramel is the hotness.
Do you think for kind of the Korean pop star thing, where initially it was always bigger groups, like 5 and more,
Yeah.
Whereas now it seems to be the groups that get the popularity are smaller size sets. There are usually now 5 or less. Do you think it's getting to the point where people are kind of tired of trying to have that much fandom?
Yeah.
Like I can't have fandom for 12 people.
I think that the main thing is there's the separation between what the fandom's like and what is popular mainstream wise. And mainstream popularity, that's going to girl groups like, spoilers for a future segment, Sistar, who are just 4 members, and right now solo singers, rappers, hip hop artists, and Orange Caramel.
You're the rapper.
You're the rapper.
I called it, man. I called it at the beginning. We're coming to the close of this year, and it's been the fucking year of the rapper.
But yeah, I think that is the case, because I think outside of the fandoms who eat up all of, like, the 7-member boy groups that all of the members have their specific charm, then this one's the Aegyo one, and this one's the tough guy, and this one's the silent guy, that stuff, that still resonates with fandoms, but on the mainstream level, the smaller groups where they can actually grasp, they can actually keep track of who's singing and who's participating in the group, and just the different styles you see in those types of groups is probably what's more the public is more gravitating towards, more than more than anything else. Yeah, I think the fandom still love their EXO and their Top Dog and their Bangtan boys and whatnot, but the mainstream popularity is leaning towards something else. At least from what I can tell. I'm not qualified to say that anything, but yeah, my unqualified opinion. But moving on to another group that made a big release, as we've chronicled the kind of the ups and downs and the trials and tribulations of Kara, but they finally made their comeback after choosing a 4th member. As a 4-member group, they made their comeback with Mamma Mia. Now, I'm just gonna have to say it. This joint, this is my jam right now. Like this song has been my jam for like the past couple of weeks. Like I was, I didn't quite react to it at first, but then I started kind of hearing it in my head a lot, and I played it a couple more times, and it just kind of started infecting me mentally. And it's just been stuck in my head, and I've been just jamming to it over and over again any chance I get. The Mamma Mia joint, and if you look into kind of what the style of the song is, it's very disco. It is disco. Like, this is just a straightforward disco track. Like, this is like ABBA in their prime. This is like all them disco tracks, all the musical tracks. It is straightforward disco. Like they call it a couple of different genre names, but that's basically what it is, and it works and it's really cool. Some people did opine that the new member did an okay job contributing, but they did point out that there's a feeling that imagine how much better it would have been with Nicole and Ji-hyung, but I'm not as well versed in Kara to know exactly how much better, but that's an interesting thing that was thrown out there. The song is really cool. The choreography is really cool and powerful and interesting and does a bunch of cool things. And Hara is sexy as hell, and Gary wills the group into where it needs to go, and the other two members contribute valiantly, and I think it's a really fantastic track. Kaz, what did you think? I know we had a little moment that you said you weren't quite feeling it.
I've been playing it again, and I'm sitting here and listening to it. I still don't like it. Like, I was listening to what you were saying, and like, I think if you gave this to me 2 years ago, where I kind of liked disco music then,
yeah,
I might have liked this, because as soon as you said that, it pinged in my head that I was like, this is kind of a disco-y like track. This is like a disco vocal track, with kind of low tone, like the kind of low tone vocals with these kind of pop sounds of like the kind of like range in the kind of the beat, it goes up and down, up and down, up and down, and then the voice is really kind of low bass and like, yeah. And I don't know, I just did not care for it. I thought the video was cute, and I as well cannot speak too much about Kara, as to say like how I would have liked it one way or the other, but I'm not, so it's not one of those things where I'm not on the side of the people who are like, oh, like he is on our side. He wishes fucking, all the other people were back. No, it's not that. It's just, I just generally don't care for this song, and I don't know how much I would have liked the same concept with the other people, It's just one of those things. It just isn't resonating with me. That's it, and that's all. Like, calm down.
That's it. I can definitely understand that. If you're not feeling the disco vibe, you probably won't feel the song. And I can't say that I automatically loved it as soon as I heard it, but it just kind of was in my brain and just kind of infected me, and I just kept jamming to it.
I mean, there are constantly songs that I hear. Like, I've done this before on the show where I'm just like, oh, I don't like that song, and then like I listen to it 3 more times as like Petey is going through his like kind of thing of the song, and then it comes back around to me, and I'm like, actually, you know what? But that was one. It still didn't catch me the second time around. I still had the first kind of initial problems that I had with it, and like not every song is gonna catch you, like, and that's okay. You
just move on and try something else. Just keep trying.
Like, I'm not saying in no way do I think it's a bad song. I'm just saying, personally, for me, in my opinion, it just didn't catch me. Like, that's really all it is. Musically, I don't have a problem with it. Like, and I want that to be very, very, very well known for some reason.
Fear the camellias. You fear the camellia.
Yeah, and it's just because people, like, whenever people say they don't like something, it's very like a visceral thing, and it's not that. It is very much just opinion and taste. Like, that's why I said, if you gave this to me like 2 or 3 years ago, where I was like, oh man, I'm kind of into disco music, I probably would have been into this because it does have that kind of appeal to it. But it just no.
It's different, and that's the kind of the point of this segment, is just introducing people to new music, and you might like it, you might not. But I think that's it for our music segment. We're going to go over to our headlines right now. So join us. Why don't you?
Lining your heads with headlines.
All right, we're back in our headline segment. We're going to talk about topical topics, as I like to say. We're talking about the happenings in the news of the past couple of weeks. A couple of interesting, we're going to do fairly quick headlines because we have a pretty good segment to close out the show. But a couple of cool, interesting things that are happening. Namely, first of all, with SPICA. So SPICA is going to do a really cool thing. As you know, they came off of their U.S. effort, and now they're going to come back to their core, Korean effort. They're actually kind of doing two separate projects with members of their group. They're splitting off into a unit and a solo effort. So it's going to be SPICA.S with everybody but Kimboa. Basically, SPICA.S.
I'm sorry, keep going.
And all the ladies. It's going to stand for special, but it could also stand for sexer, because they sexy. Mm-hmm. And they're going to do their own kind of vocal style. Not sure exactly what it will be, but they certainly look good, and they'll kill it vocally. And aside from that, Kimboa is going to do her own solo release. Her own solo project. She's somebody that has written for SPICA, has produced for SPICA. She's, a longtime vocal guide and trainer. She's been working behind the scenes, so she's finally going to get the reins on her own kind of solo project. And I've chronicled on the show how much kind of she's starting to become my version of Kaz's one cat issue, deal with one cat when it comes to SPICA. And it's definitely interesting. Yeah, that one cat. This is interesting. It's we don't know what it's going to be, but we know they're going to kill it vocally. That's all we know. But what do you think of kind of this? Do you get any sort of impression of what it might be, or?
I feel like it is like it's that. Oh, Kimboa is really good, and we have all these things that we could do with her on her own. Why don't we do that? But then we don't want the fans to be mad, so what we'll do is we'll keep SPICA as it is around, and then we'll just keep the other girls in SPICA, and we'll just throw an S on it, which is just irrelevantly retarded to me, right? If you feel like, okay, and this is going to get really rude, right? This is going to get really rude in 2 seconds. If you feel like she's outgrown the rest of the bitches, then fucking let her go and let her be on her own and produce her and solo her and push her out. But if you feel like, yo, these 4 pretty ass chicks can still fucking sell records as SPICA, then don't throw the fucking S on it. Just leave them as SPICA. Just go, you know what? We think that Kimboa as herself is like, we can rise her as a solo artist. Graduate her out of the group. Pull somebody else in. I know you got a fucking list of trainees longer than the fucking Schindler's List over there. Like, just fucking throw out a net, we got another pretty little bitch. Like, just fucking, like, and I'm sorry that I'm, like, going this hard on it, but it is so fucking dumb to do something like this. To separate one person out of the group to the point where if she gets popular enough and famous enough, you're not gonna put her back in SPICA. You're not gonna do that. That's not gonna happen. Why? Well, because now you're making double the money.
I mean, it could be similar to Hyuna in 4 Minute. I mean, Hyuna still does 4 Minute songs, and then she does Hyuna songs. I see this as kind of keeping everyone busy and keeping everyone in everyone in the group in the out there and promoting, so that nobody's lost. But it's a little odd. Yeah, it's a little odd.
Okay, let's go over this, right? Do you like if Hyuna had the time, right, to really put her all into Hyuna as a project, like let's not talk about Hyuna as a person, but Hyuna as a project, it would be that much more better. You know what I'm saying? Like, when they gave her that time to be able to work on the things that she needed to work on to the point where she could just put out stuff, then she had that. You know what I'm saying? But then it still is this, okay, now come back and do all this other work because you have to do this shit too. No, like, this is what the graduate system was supposed to be for. Like, do this to the point. Let them start making new styles of solo artist music, blah, 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 whatever, and then roll somebody else in. Make it what it's supposed to be. Make it this thing that it's supposed to culture and do things. And then every once in a while, bring that person back into the group. Don't make it like this because now it just sounds like some overworked bullshit. And whether they can handle the work or not is not what I'm talking about. Like, we've been over those issues of overworking Korean artists and Japanese artists and overworking these girls and these guys and all this shit. Like, but it is just one of these things where it's just like, I don't understand that. Like, I just don't. Like, even without Kimboa, it's still fucking, like, it makes it sound so, like, disrespectful to the other girl. Because it's like, oh, we're gonna take her out and highly promote her. But whereas Spica will still be around when she wants to come back. When she's not here, they'll just be special. Like the kids at the back of the bus. The fuck out of here.
I see what you're talking about. I think it might be not. I think adding the SPICA.S subunit, creating that, it might be the only issue. I think having her do a cool solo project and then come back to the group that she helps produce and work on creatively. As another aspect of kind of a creative output, isn't that far-fetched? Like, okay, this is what kind of I do for my solo work, and this is what I kind of do for the group work. And they all get along, and they all came up together. I'm not a fan of of changing that group, because I kind of like the group dynamic they have now. Specifically the fact that they're the girl group of misfit toys, and they're all, like, with the exception of the one that came from the singing show, all the four of them, including Kimboa, were, from other agencies and from other groups. I mean, one of them was supposed to be in 21, but got cut. I like this little group dynamic, and I would like it to exist. But I definitely see what you're talking about if you're gonna have her go solo, have her go solo.
Well, you know what? Because I just sat here and thought about all my comments, and being the genius that I am, I also thought about how people could, like, throw my comments back in my face, right? Where I have in the past said, like, it is possible for someone to step away from the group, make a solo album, and come back, right? Yes, that is possible. I understand that. But when GD does a solo project, it's not, it's not Big Bang K. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not GD steps away and Big Bang still exists as something else. No, when GD steps away, Big Bang takes a hiatus and everybody else works on something else. Top goes and does movies. Fucking, Sungri makes music. Taeyoung makes other music. You know what I'm saying? Like Daesung chills at his house. You have all these things that happen, like when someone else steps away, and then when they're done with those things, when they're done with the promotion, when they're done with the tours, then they come back and they're like, yo, let's do more Big Bang stuff, and it's very specifically them going, hey, I couldn't be popular by myself on my own if I really wanted to, but I want to do more Big Bang stuff because I love working with these kids. And I'm not saying Kimboa doesn't have that same sensibility of being like, oh, but I love working with the rest of the girls, so of course I still want to do more Spica. That's not even a thought. Like, of course I would think that she would want to do that outside of maybe some kind of disagreement, and then we hear more to this later on. But why not take this chance to try to shine the other girls? You know what I'm saying? Instead of making them seem even more of misfits than what Petey said they already are.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting point. That's a good point. But I think we'll have to see when it actually does come out. We don't know anything yet. We'll have to see when it does come out. But hopefully it will be awesome. It'll be amazing singing. That's basically, we know that. That's a given. We can bet on that. That's a free space of that bingo. The vocals are going to be killer. But we'll have to see how it works out. I love me some Kimboa.
Yeah.
But moving on to something else, our next headline. Very interesting headline. We've chronicled our feelings on Bangtan Sonyeon, or aka Bangtan Boys. And well, let's just say we're not fond of them. In general, we haven't been fond of them. So what has been happening, which is and I've been kind of monitoring it from a distance. I haven't watched a single episode just because I don't feel like cringing that much. It's just not something I'm interested in having happen in my life right now. I don't, I understand that it's there. I understand that the Schadenfreude is there, but I'm not interested. They're doing a show called American Hustle Life. Let that sit there for a second. In which they get advice on the world of hip hop from luminaries such as Warren G and Coolio.
Yeah, because that's people you want hip hop advice from. People whose careers died the same day they started.
Yeah. And what they did is actually Warren G directed a music video for them. And well, it was the thing. It very much was I will say about the video, it's very much them pretending to be American rappers. And it was directed like an American rap video.
A shitty American rap video.
Yeah, shitty American rap video done on a reality show.
I'm gonna go into the 7 things that I do know about fucking camera work and photography right now. Like, disclaimer, right? Yes, I take pictures. It's something that I do. I am in no way a professional. I have taken no real schooling for this. This is all shit that I have researched and done on my own, right? 1, the fucking shit is blown the fuck out. There looks like there was no color correction done on this, honey, at all. Like, fucking, sometimes there are no focal points. Like, and just, like, there's just a lot of shit happening. This was shot really quickly and edited just as fast. And just, there is just no direction to this. It is so strung of random shots and random things, and it's so disjointed from, like, you can tell this was shot over like a couple of days or even just one day. You know what I'm saying? Like, because like it is just so disjointed and weird, and just the fact of like knowing that they kind of like went up to these girls and were like, hey, want to be in a music video, and knowing these entrepreneuring young ladies, they were like, oh, a music video, okay, and then got there and were like, what the fuck is going on? Whatever, I'm getting paid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna be in a music video. So that's just what this was. And it was just like, you could have thrown out, like, they're in fucking LA. They're in LA. They could have fucking thrown out a fucking call to the fucking world. Like, I don't know what that was. I don't know what a call to the world is, but whatever it is, they could have done that. And I am assured that they would have got like a fucking 100 girls to come there to be in a fucking Bangtan Boys fucking video, because they are actually relatively popular besides the 2 motherfuckers sitting here that don't like them. Like, and they could, like, it would have been such a better response to do that than get these random to fucking be in the video and not know what the fuck is going on. I'm ranting a lot today.
Yeah.
And I don't have my air conditioner on. This is real sweat, people. I'm sweating for this shit because I'm mad.
Yeah. It's ridiculous, and it's kind of dumb, and you gotta love the facial reactions of like of these girls just like looking at them and with pity in their eyes, like, oh, poor child, like, you are not cool. Like,
It's
you're
not
trying
even,
to be a
it's not
rapper.
even witty. They're just like, I don't know what's going on. They're playing the song in a language I don't understand. Like, and Warren G's here. like, it's just like, I don't know what's going on. Like, it's just so it's so.
But yeah, I think, though he makes fun of people asking for it, I think the fact that they didn't have the dance of the original song, again, cause they're not cool rappers. Like, they're just not. They're not cool. And they're not gonna sell me on just being there, being cool and just rapping at the camera. But if they are a hip hop style K-pop group and they do they have good choreography and they have good dancing, I'll dig on that. Like, if the song isn't too dumb, I'll dig on that a little bit, or at least I'll tolerate it. But there's no dancing. It's very much a music video done for a reality show rather than a music video done to be released properly. Like, you can tell.
Yeah. And I will say, I know I'm really far back here. I will say, like, song-wise, not that bad. You know, there's still a lot of problems with it, but for what I know of Bangtan Boys, I didn't initially hate it. You know, I don't like it, but I didn't initially hate it.
Yeah. But yeah. But I mean, it is what it is. I think it's, it does give some fun ridiculousness, and it does entertain. So it was entertaining, to say the least, just to see all the, the ridiculous, attempts at being cool, which is, just hilarious. But that is that. Moving on to, something that's going to make us a little more happy, which is J Park. Thank you, based J Park. We can always count on J Park to bring us back to good. J Park released a new music video for his song called So Good, and it is very much a Michael Jackson tribute track. And it is deliberately so. It's not something that he's like, it's like he's ripping off J Park. No, I mean, he's ripping off Michael Jackson. No, he's paying tribute to Michael Jackson in this track, in this video, in several ways. Yeah. And, he has a fun video. And it's, though he did go back to his baby making music, with his last track. This one goes more to his, pop R&B, style, more of his danceable stuff. And it kind of works, and it's a pretty cool track. And the music video is kind of, generic, but it's fun. It's very much like just a standard summer fun video,
I'm trying to do a lot of Michael Jackson dances, and like, you know what's funny? I'm like watching this video fully for the first time because I like listened to just the audio track before, right? Yeah. This video is the Bangtan Boys video, but better.
Again, here, the dance.
Right. There's the dance in there. There's him in a lowrider. Like, there's him with girls. And they're good actresses because they're showing genuine interest, and they're having fun. And there's dancing. And, there's kind of a
Park in a tucked-in J Park in a tucked-in wife beater with black jeans, which not the best moment. Yeah, that's the best moment, but
it didn't look good on you, J Park. I know what you were going for. Sometimes you gotta look at those dailies and be like, oh no.
I'm gonna go ahead and untuck my untuck my tank top. And let's do that again. But yeah, like overall, it has a lot really going for it. It's not the most creative music video in the world, but it's done really well. No. And like a lot of the dance, the Michael Jackson tribute dance steps are integrated really well. And what else can you say about J Park? We love J Park here in this podcast. Like, we're a J Park fandom here in this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. J Park.
Like,
saving us.
I'm not ranting. I liked it. Like, it looks like everyone had fun making this video. Fucking, there's a picture in here in this article of J Park, like, eyeing this girl like she was a fucking turkey on Thanksgiving. Yeah. And I don't know, like, it just, at this point, J Park does no wrong in my book. Like, he's at that level. J Park does no wrong in my book. I love me some J Park, except for tucking in that wife beater. Like, if I saw J Park, I'd be like, like, even in here in the article they talk about it, but it's just like, J, what you doing? What, why you done did that? You know?
And none love for you, but don't do that. And of course, the young lady is by the name of Morgan Lindholm, and I love that the journalist, our boy at IATFB over at Asian Junkie, taking care of the important research, which was looking up her Twitter and Instagram.
So we can properly give this young lady credit for everything that. Did you pull up her Instagram?
Yeah, and I just hit that follow button. live to tape here on Hallyujuku. I ain't even gonna lie. Because you know what? I'm open and honest with our viewers / listeners. You know, I'm open and honest. Ain't no barriers.
Oh my god!
But yeah, J Park, awesome. We really need to get going on that whole replacing Chris Brown with J Park thing. Like, we need to get that going. Like, we can just take Chris Brown out, put J Park in. You take up all of the same roles. You know, all of the same jobs, you know, and the world would be a better place. But moving on to something else, I actually was surprised you hadn't included this in your main.
No, I was gonna put this in, but then I was like, oh, there's the news story is in here.
Yeah, but Gary and Jung In have dropped another track. Kangari and Jung In have dropped another track from their collaboration called Bicycle. And it's another kind of a summer fun music video, and it's a very cool atmospheric song. Another summer fun music video, but I think a little more true to summer fun in Seoul music video. And matches up really well, and is a fun video. And of course, we are fans of Gary. You know, Kaz, what did you think of this music video?
I liked it. I thought it was kind of cute and kitschy. Like, I kind of like these Lee Song videos that they do where they're not in, and I know I'm calling it a Lee Song video, but I'm going to get to more of that in a second, where they're kind of not in the video and you're kind of just enjoying the song to really nice visuals, you know?
Yeah.
And kind of some kind of a story, you know? Yeah. Because you see kind of all this love around, but then you kind of see this like lonely dude who's out jogging and running, and you could kind of see like he's pained about something. And it's just really fun. And like you said, it's just that real kind of just appeal of like summer and love, you know, like between friends and people, like father and daughter, mothers, you know, like just kind of all this stuff. Now the reason I kind of call this a Lee Sung video is my initial thoughts on this Gary Jung In collaboration and doing stuff is like, I think initially what was supposed to happen was Gary was supposed to do his solo thing. Most likely Gil was supposed to do a solo thing, and then they were supposed to come back with Lee Sung. But Gil right now is out of the media spotlight. Because of the incident he had, the scandal,
with the
as we like to call it,
driving and the whatnot.
Yeah. So I feel like this was something put together, and when I say put together, I don't mean in any way disjointedly or slapped together in any way, because the music is really good. I feel like this was something put together in place of that.
Yeah, it's like, we can't do that. Oh, what can we do? Well, actually, I know somebody that I would love to work with, and I'd love to do another track with, because they've worked with each other various times before, Gary and Jung In. So it's like, yeah, I'd love to do another track with her, and it's not like we're going to be able to do Lee Sang right now, so let's just go ahead and do that, and just collaborate and whatnot. So it was definitely an opportunity there that probably caused this. And this ends this track they released before it. So yeah, it's a fun video. Some are fun, and it's got a corgi, and can't go wrong with corgi.
No.
But yeah, we love it. We're digging on Gary. We're fan. Another one we're a fan of. Gary. It's like our Kangari. But moving on to another major release, music video, very interesting release, but very notable release. Super Junior making their comeback. This
Super
time with Lee Tuk back in the band after serving his military service. Now back in Super Junior, you got the whole crew. Not Super Junior M or Super Junior T or none of the other groups. It's just Super Junior.
No, you're motherfucking one of the first things I ever fell in love with when I found K-pop. Fucking Super Junior, like, and then in a fucking silly, ridiculous, like over the top, you know what? Like, why not style video?
Yeah. You got it's the Wild West. It's a song called Mamacita. Ay, 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 ay. Cause, yeah. Siwon wearing a mustache, and being a sheriff. Cause, of course.
And also featuring our favorite person. Well, I'm gonna call him our second favorite person over at SM, Shindong.
Yeah. Shindong. One of the best people. It's hilarious. Always.
Yes.
It's just awesome. Shindong. But yeah, what did you think of the song in the video overall?
Overall, it's not gonna be even in my top 10 of Super Junior songs, But I thought it was a really good song overall, like I thought it had that kind of Super Junior appeal and flavor that I don't think any of the other Super Junior groups have been able to kind of reach yet. And I could be fanboying out right now just because, like I said, I got some love for Super Junior, man. Like,
yeah, you never forget your first.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. The Super Junior, it's kind of fun and kind of ridiculous. The video is very ridiculous, and it's the water in your ear dance and the ay thing was kind of dumb, but I get that it's supposed to be kind of over the top and dumb a little bit, but it kind of works. It's probably not gonna, like I said, it's not gonna be on too many of my K-pop playlists or going to be in my to work listening playlist, but it's a fun song and it's there, and they keep doing that water in your ear dance. Ay. It's weird. But besides that, yeah, it's a kind of it's kind of fun. It's Super Junior. You kind of know a little bit of what to expect, but then you really don't know what to expect, and then that's what you know what to expect. That you don't know what to expect.
You gotta love Super Junior, man.
And that kind of wraps it up for our headlines. We wrap it up on a odd note. A little confusing.
No, we wrapped it up on a happy note. We came in with some anger and some vitriol,
and then ended up in a happy place.
I'm happy.
In a happy place, and that's in Shindong's arms. That's our happy place.
I'm digging in his pockets.
Yeah, that's true.
The government ain't find all that money.
Nah. Yeah, look for that. But yeah, that's it for the headlines. We're going to get into our Hallyujuku talks. We're going to follow up on the Otakon grab bag, the Otakon score. And we've finally give a talk on those albums, and I'll talk about what I scored at DragonCon. So join us right over there.
Our Hallyujuku Talk segment is brought to you by Squarespace. Make an easy-to-use website by going to squarespace.com/Hallyujuku, which will take you to nothing because we don't have the code yet. And that's not how codes on Squarespace works. But when you get to Squarespace, you'll be like, wow, this was really disjointed about how I got here. But then you'll be like, but I'm here. I'm going to make a website. And you'll be like, holy shit, that was super easy. And you're like, it's easier than those disjointed instructions Kaz gave me. And that's why you'll love Squarespace.
Exactly.
Okay, ladies and gentlefolk, we're here with Hallyujuku Talks, our segment where we kind of talk in depth about something, usually a drama that we're watching, show, whatever, music, albums, those kind of things. At some point, maybe we'll learn how to read Korean and do Korean novels.
I don't know.
So something that me and Petey like to do is go to conventions, and usually when we're at conventions, we like to kind of pick up random albums, and one, to add to our collection of having, like, sometimes having physical media is nice, and two, it gives us something to like kind of actually hardcore review, which Petey is very astute at, being 1/4 of the record breakers.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot how many people were on that show for a second. So it's something we decided to do here, and it is also one of those things that allows you to have that same appeal and realize sometimes buying the physical thing is just as good as buying the digital. We went in depth last week about the concept of the actual physical thing, what you get in your packaging, and all that stuff. So we're not going to go over that. We're going to specifically talk about the music. And we're going to start with BAP's mini album, which I was disappointed in overall. It's their 4th mini album, and it is their unplugged album. The reason I was kind of disappointed in it, it's actually only 2 songs.
Yeah.
And with everything as it is, and everything that we stated last time in talking about packaging and all these things that you get, and design and all these things that go into what you paid for this, to at the end of that only really have 2 songs and an instrumental. I at the end of the day, and they're kind of jazzy more than unplugged to me. I don't know if you got that feel, Petey.
Yeah, it's more jazzy with a little country feel, and not necessarily specifically unplugged. Like,
it's not what you think about when you think about unplugged. You think about kind of really acoustic-y, not too many instruments, maybe a guitar and drums, and vocals, But this was really, really kind of jazzy.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it was a good song. I don't know if I don't know if I'm in love with it or really like with it, but it was a okay song. You can jam to it, and you can, I'm not say jam, but you can kind of like listen to it, and kind of feels okay. Kind of has a nice little kind of ambiance to it. But it's definitely completely unexpected from BAP. I think, at least for me, the past couple of releases, I guess this one was their most recent single release. This and Angel were completely random and completely unexpected, considering we've known BAP as a very in-your-face, very kind of aggressive hip-hop style group for pretty much all of the we've seen them up until their official first album, and then suddenly they did Angel. Which Angel was a good track, but this one was kind of it's okay. I don't even really remember most of what the actual songs sound like, and so it was just saying something because it's not that memorable.
Yeah. And people could probably point out when we first watched the BAP Unplugged video, we had more of an upbeat reaction to it, but I think that is more of the unexpected catching you off guard from something that you kind of like. You're like, oh, I like BAP, and this is really unexpected, and I think I like this. But when you get that chance to really sit down with it, and you put effort into it, and by effort I mean money, you're like, I don't know if that was overall worth that, entertainment to value is specifically what we're talking about. And the value that was put in, I'm not sure I got the entertainment out of it that I wanted. I'm happy with what I physically have. I don't know other than that if I'm happy with anything else. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like at that point, is it worth it? Is it worth the fact that I'm happy about how this looks over what I heard? Yeah. And I don't think it is. I still love BAP. I am going to continue to yell about them for Year of the Rapper, as well as all the underground artists that you should be paying attention to. But overall, meh. Yeah. So, and I mean, it's one of those things, if you're a BAP fan, you're going to buy this anyway, and you're going to champion the fuck out of it. But if you're kind of a fly-by-night BAP person, stick to something else. Stick to Angel, stick to one of the other things that you're more well-known for hearing from BAP, because those would be the things that you're actually overall happy with. Mm-hmm. This would just kind of be more fodder to, like, BAP fans and people of that kind of ilk than anyone else. Yeah.
But yeah, moving on. So this one was basically relatively brand new to us. Hello Venus, which even at this point, as me and Petey like to say, if you got your hands on that Chris jersey, you better hold on to that, put it in plastic, because that motherfucker is a collector's item. Which basically, at this point, this is as well, because this is a group called Hello Venus. This is their first mini album, Venus. And even from what you see here, everything is totally different. There are certain members that are no longer in this group. This was kind of a joint project between two production houses. And unfortunately to me, I haven't looked to see what has become of Hello Venus, but goddamn, this was some good music. Yeah, it was something that happened recently, the kind of the split between the kind of just the end of the cooperation, where it's like, okay, now you Ota and you Joe are no longer in the group. But as you were saying,
yeah, and that's kind of sad, because what is in here is well produced. The girls, and well produced means, things are touched up, things are done really well, and all that stuff. Musically, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the vocals that I heard. I enjoyed the songs overall. And there's maybe one or two songs. Well,
there's I believe 4 songs.
Yeah, it's 4 songs, and
the first one was kind of more of an intro, but yeah, it's a full song. Yeah, so 4 songs.
I think it's
Hello.
3.
It's Hello, Venus. It's Hello, Venus. Those are 2 separate songs. Hello, and then Venus. Then Sodaim. And then Love Appeal.
And Love Appeal. Love Appeal is really, really good. If you just kind of want to check out that before you buy anything, like, kind of do that. But like I said, what you hear here is not what you're ever going to hear from Hello Venus again, because it is going to be a different sound. It's going to be totally different. But I think all the girls in this group were really good. So it's something that, like, if you see it at your local convention, or if it's one of those things, even if you can't necessarily be a fandom of what's in here and what you're getting, I think it's still worth it. I'm so glad that I have this, because it's good girl K-pop.
I think it's definitely an interesting set of tracks. Like, Hello and Venus are very kind of interesting, like, powerful, kind of high energy, not so much powerful, but high energy tracks, especially Hello. Venus kind of has it kind of trades off between kind of having a very Britney Spears vibe, and kind of mixed with something else that I can't quite put my finger on, but it's different. And then, like, the third track, you basically get an OST track. Like, it sounds like a drama OST, Sodaim. Like, the entire time I'm listening to that particular track, I'm imagining the clips from the next week's episode.
Yeah, and I think that's why I didn't like it, because you come off with two really like high-paced tracks, then it's slow, then it kind of goes onto like another kind of upbeat track.
Yeah,
you know.
So it's an interesting kind of mix. Yeah.
Yeah, and Venus is the song that I really, really liked. I just love it from the intro to the outro of the song, like, which is funny because in Venus they say hello a bunch.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, they do a lot, and then Venus they do it as well. It's a kind of an odd thing. They're just saying hello. They just want to say hello, like my mom.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fantastic track.
Hello, Venus, definitely worth the price that's on it. It's worth picking up either digitally or physically. The BAP, I'm not so sure the physical is worth it. At the end of the day, if you want, just buy the tracks on iTunes, and I think if you're a fan of BAP, you'll be just as happy with that. Yeah. I know you want the picture book, but like, there's
you can
really
see them on the computer. You can get them on the computer. You can get those pictures on the computer. But yeah, those are our finds then. And we're gonna roll it back around again with my pick because
he just recently came off of a convention. He went to Dragon Con of the Dragons, as people like to call it. And you know, he's keeping our kind of tradition going and picked up something over at Dragon Con.
So I'll tell the story. So Dragon Con was a pretty big blast. You know, we do have a lot of fun partying over there. And of course, like any convention, it had the vendors area. I'm not going to get into how I feel about their vendors area. Maybe the whole, it was multiple rooms.
Now you brought it up. So now you got to go into it.
Okay, so after being at Florida SuperCon, which was one big convention center, Ace, and which again the vendor area was in one big convention center. Now we get to Dragon Con. The vendor area was in what is the America's Mart, and it's not a convention center. And it wasn't one big room. It was separated into three, I would say, medium-sized rooms. That's like more conference rooms. And you had to kind of decide one room to go to and then another, and then you had to explore three separate rooms separately without knowing exactly which ones would be the ones that had exactly what. And that wasn't necessarily fun when you're trying to absolutely scour the area when you had little to no information on or confirmation that there even was a K-pop booth there.
Right.
Because if I knew this is we had with ASIN, we had K-pop in USA, and they had their 4 booths, their 6 booths that they had commandeered. But we knew where it was. Like, we'd go, okay, it's going to be there. And go to it. But, and without that, it would be bad enough. But then it was also separated and kind of compartmentalized in a way that didn't quite make sense. Aside for the one room that had kind of these specific things, I wasn't a big fan. I think they could probably hopefully find a venue
So-
that's a little more cohesive.
The general anime convention or general kind of comic convention, because I haven't been to a lot of comic conventions, so this is speaking more from the anime side, and I mean relatively they're the same. It's just content. Generally, what you get is you get whatever kind of biggest space in an area that you can hold. And you put your vendors in there, and then, or sometimes if your con is a little bit smaller, you split that big space in half. One half is artist alley, one half is vendors. So to have 3 separate rooms packed with people selling shit, and you're looking for something. Now you think, oh, 3 separate rooms makes it easy. No, that makes it way more disjointed. Like I'm visualizing this, and it's way more disjointed. Like me and Petey walked into the dealers area in ASEN, and we were like, all right, we got to find the convention center. And this is what happens: you separate, you lose each other, then you're like, oh god, where is this person? Oh, there's the K-pop booth. And then you're like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna head for the K-pop booth. And then you head there, you're like, oh, we met up.
Yeah.
And then like you walk around, and it's such a good layout because there's shit all around, and then there's shit in the middle. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so going, hey, all this shit that's in this quadrant is in a room. All this shit that's in this quadrant is in this room, and all this shit that's here is in that room. And then you're like, all right, well, I got to go through here. Okay, I went around through did I see everything? I don't know. Like, okay, yeah, I think I saw. Okay, let me go in the other room and see. Like, everything is in here. No, that's not what I'm looking for. No, this is the other room I was already in. God damn it! Like, go back out. Like, all right, is this the third room? I don't remember seeing them before. Like, walk halfway through. Oh, nope, I've been in here before. Where is the third room? Like,
yeah, it was not the best, and it was actually 3 rooms over. I think maybe no, I think the artist alley was it was 3 rooms, and I think the third room was like on the 2nd floor, and it was like not the best. There's a lot of things that I love about Dragon Con, but that experience wasn't the best. Plus, it was incredibly packed, and you walked at a snail's pace once you got in there, and it's like, I really hope that they do better, because I think that's a big thing of this year. This year was so much more packed this year overall. Like Thursday was the new Friday, like as far as like attendance and hype, and it's way into Sunday night. Things were still hyped and on full throttle as far as attendance and partying. There was still people there Monday, still kind of roaming around doing stuff. Like, it was big this year, and they didn't expand things properly to accommodate that. So it's like, whatever. But my journey was an arduous journey. I did end up roaming all of the rooms, and I only barely found what I guess I wouldn't call it the K-pop booth, but the booth that had K-pop, which was a very kind of small booth that had a few different kind of Asian media things. They had Japanese indie music and metal, and it had some like K-pop that was like front and center, and they had some like, I think, costume stuff and like some like headwear. It was like just like this little mix mash room of booth with this kind of was a really cool guy that was manning it, and I had a conversation with him. He's really cool. But yeah, they had the K-pop. And it was just a few albums. I think he had more, before, but he sold quite a few of them. And I just I checked them out. I kind of hung out for a little bit, and I picked my albums. And luckily there was an album and there was an artist that, I think both of us know of, but I don't think we've really explored. First of all, this is not what we're going to talk about, but I got this. I got me some Sistar.
mm-hmm.
I got me some nice pictures of Sistar being Sistar. Yeah, and I got a little card.
That packaging. Did you drop it? You dropped the card.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't think did the Hello Venus come with a card? Where's the card? Oh, okay.
I think it did.
Okay.
Yeah, it came with one of the former members.
Yeah. Gotta have those. Do you think people use them like trading cards?
I want them to be like Munchkin cards. Also, it's time.
Like, I'll give you a CL if you give me fucking a GD. Like, yo, I got that Hyuna. What? You got a Hyuna? Oh, yo, what you want for that?
You get a combo platter right there.
I want 2 rare CLs and a fucking young GD. Like, yo, you want my young GD for a Hyuna?
Rookie. You got the rookie, that G-Dragon rookie card. But no, and aside from Sistar, who I love and enjoy, but that's just more piling on what we've already discussed. We've already discussed that in length. I also picked up something else. It was B2B. I think their most recent mini album, Beep Beep Bang Bang, otherwise known as Beep Beep, Beep Beep Beep. B2B is a group under Cube Entertainment, and now that's kind of they just recently simplified their whole corporate structure. Now they're just one label. So now they're label mates with Rain, Gina, I believe A-Pink, Hyuna, and 4 Minute by extension. So they're in that. If you really look at it, that's a pretty big label. So they're one of the kind of the younger boy groups that are on that label. Interesting group. You know, Peniel's kind of one of those go-to English speaker guys. He's part of the English speaking mafia. You know, that's head up by A. Lee and Eric Nam and Min. You know, Miss A. You know, that whole like posse. So he's friends with all those people. But yeah, they're an interesting group. And I'm interested to see how this sounds like. They're, you know, that like, as you can see, the little bit of hip hop style, you know, pretty Korean boys. You kind of, you see what it's
Can't go
about.
wrong with pretty Korean boys.
So we'll look forward to kind of, we're gonna get a listen to it and see how we feel about it. So for overall, the packaging is really cool. Just a standard, permanently attached picture book and the CD. So I like the packaging, and we'll get to see how we like the actual music itself. So we look forward to that.
I think, like, kind of like breaking the fourth wall. I really think it's really cool to talk about them in 2 separate stances like that, of like the physical thing that you paid for, which is, you know, the CD, the booklet, and the packaging overall, like, and then what you actually get from the music, and then making that your value worth, you know? Yeah. And I think that's something you really, really have to think about when you're buying these things. And especially because, like we said, this is way more value added than your American CD, which is just that plastic thing, little teeny booklet in a CD. Like, there's no reason to buy that nowadays. But something like this, where you get the value added, you get the little trading card, like we just talked about, you get the picture book that is permanently attached. And you have these things that you know, you that add to everything, you know? Overall, like, the packaging for this Hello Venus thing, I think is rather plain and rather meh. And the pictures in the picture book are just okay at best. But what I got overall, I'm super happy with, like I said. So, like I said, we're going to do the same thing for BTOB. And their mini album, and a little bit about Sistar, because I'm pretty sure he's not going to be able to help himself. I had to say, on top of what you said about the American CDs, the only CDs I have besides like these K-pop CDs, the only CDs I ever really bother to buy are from indie artists whose shows I go to, like Ali Spagnola, Professor Shy Guy, the Double Clicks, you know, a couple artists like I'm there, and it's an opportunity for me to give them money because I think they're cool. And that's the only reason I have for buying physical media, is as an opportunity to give a really cool independent artist my money and have them, make them have to take it, you know? And that's a way. But outside of that,
something for like a pop artist where it's not so much about that. It's about what I get. You know, it's more about a product relationship, content creator, content consumer. Having that extra value of the collector's item is important. But we look forward to that in the future. But that brings us to the conclusion of this episode of Hallyujuku.
That it does?
Yes. Kaz, what have you got going on in your neck of the woods?
I can finally talk about the project I have been like painstakingly like trying to put together. I am doing a giant group podcast kind of thing, mainly starring me and good friend Brian Curley. It is a comedy lifestyle podcast where we're gonna constantly have like a rotating other three chairs of all the awesome people that we know, from Miller to probably you, Petey, Drew, and just kind of all the people that we know, and like all this stuff that Curly has been building over on his Twitch community, all the stuff I've been building, doing all the different podcasts that I have been doing, and kind of just finally having this kind of joint place where we can talk and have fun, and like all these times that we have like back chat hangouts and back chat Skype calls where we just say silly, ridiculous things to each other and like have that mindset of hit the record button, but then we say really, really fucked up things and we're like, oh, I'm glad we didn't record this conversation. Where those conversations will be kind of structured and recorded and put together. And I want to give all praise and worship in the world to T2T2 deciding to take the production side of this out of my hands and production-wise, making this a really, really, really structured thing that will probably end up disjointed anyway, because I'm the showrunner. But it's only going to get bigger, better, and awesome. Right now, we're in the alpha stages of recording, so right now there's some audio-only stuff that if you go to my About.me, most likely I'll find a way to link to it. It'll probably be on Facebook and G+ and stuff like that. And then we're going to move on to beta stage stuff. We'll be turning it into a video podcast, much the way as this. Record breakers, kind of all these things that we do. And it'll just be this big fun thing that people can participate in and have fun. There's going to be way more shit to come from this. This is like a big project that I'm working on that I'm really excited that it's actually starting to be a thing. And I can finally talk about it. There is still yet to be a hardcore name for it. Right now it's the DKG water cooler. Yeah. And I hate that name. I very much hate that name. But we'll come up with a very specific name for it. It'll be really fun, and I just want people to kind of get excited. Yes,
get hyped, son. And go on, check that About.me/KingKaz. You can find all the my stuff About.me/Petey Rave. Just go there, follow us on Twitter, follow us everywhere. The show is at Hallyujuku. You can go to hallyujuku.com, or if that's, if you want to share that with other people, here's an easier URL, kpoppodcast.com. Subscribe to us, share us, like us, give us some reviews on iTunes, Stitcher, listen to us everywhere. Just follow us, share, like, subscribe. Until next time, hasta los huevos.
Annyeong. Fighting.